Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable MPs, dear students, friends from the media, thank you one and all for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend the roundtable today afternoon on the topic of Women's Reservation Bill. I am Vishnuvardhan Reddy and I will be co-mediating the event along with Ms. Sumanji. To give you a brief background about myself, I am from Hyderabad. I am a spokesperson of the BRS party. I am a proponent of Women's Reservation Bill. So I live in a family with 6 people, out of which 4 of them are women. My mother, my wife, and I have 2 daughters. So I already have 2/3 of majority at my home and I'm very proud of it. Thank you. So the reason why we are all here today is to discuss the Women's Reservation Bill, share ideas, have more interactive and fruitful discussion about the technicalities, the legalities of the bill, and to agree on a strategy, on a common strategy that should be adopted within the Parliament, so that we can ensure the bill is introduced and passed in the Parliament. So that is the primary focus of this roundtable. We've been doing what it needs to be done outside the Parliament in the terms of protests or other means, but today's discussion specifically focuses on the procedures of the Parliament that we can adopt, that as a united opposition we can all fight and get the bill introduced and passed in the Parliament in the ensuing session. Having said that, I would like to quote what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had said. He said, I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved in that community. Having said that, we can open up the round table, and I would like to invite Ms. Kavitha ji to get onto the stage, and let's open up the floor for discussion. Kavitha ma'am.
Jai Bharat, a very warm welcome and good afternoon to all of you, especially for the students from Zindal and many honorable members of parliament, party leaders, senior leadership is here. I welcome all of you. Senior journalist Mr. Vinit Narayanji is also here. A special welcome to you, sir. Today, the agenda of this roundtable conference is to discuss on the methods in which the political parties can bring about pressure on the ruling party to table the bill in the Parliament. There are 2 kinds of fights when we have to achieve the Women Reservation Bill. One is, of course, with the help of the people, the fight that is to be taken up on the streets outside the Parliament, and the other, of course, is the one inside the Parliament. There are many methods inside the Parliament with which political parties can bring pressure on the ruling government. For example, if any party wants to bring in a private member's bill on the Women's Reservation Bill, that will be a very good pressure point for the government. We can start by asking more questions on the Women Reservation Bill itself. We can mention it in the 0 hour. Like that, there are so many tools in special mentions. We can give adjournment motions so that the government can introduce Women's Reservation Bill. And why do I speak about building pressure inside the Parliament? The one and only reason is this is a government with full mandate, and if we bring about reasonable pressure on the government and the bill is introduced, then this is a very achievable target. So with this particular point of interest, today we have invited Member of Parliaments from various political parties. First of all, I would like to thank the entire Parliament members who are sitting here from BRS party, and I'll invite Ms. Malot Kavitha Garu to come and join us here on the stage. Then Mr. Santosh Kumar, MP from CPI. Before Mr. Santosh Kumar, I would like to invite Mr. Narayan Garu, who is the CPI party National General Secretary, and Mr. Binoy Vishwam Garu, MP from CPI. Please join us on the stage, sir. Miss Tamilachi from Chennai, South, ma'am, MP? Chennai, please come. Welcome on the stage. And I would like to invite Miss Pratibha Singh, who is the RLD National Women Wing President of RLD. Mr. Vinit Narayan Garu, please, don't want to say a few words? Okay. Can you get the name of from Beam Army, please? Mr. Gurnam Singh Garu, who is from the Kisan Manch, I would like to welcome you on the stage, sir, so that you can please come up. पार्लियामेंट के बाहर लड़ना है तो किसानों से सीखे, इसीलिए हमने कहा गुरनाम सिंह जी को बुलाते हैं सपोर्ट में. विष्णु, Mr. Harjit Patti from Beam Army, that is the Azad Party, please come on the stage. Rekha Bora ji, please come on the stage. I would like to ask Mr. Narayan Garu to make some opening statements and then we'll pass it on to the MPs, sir.
First of all, I must congratulate Kavitha, who is initiating to fight for women reservation bill. This bill, when Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, he appointed a parliamentary committee under the leadership of Geeta Mukherjee, veteran CPI parliamentarian. She toured all over India and prepared a very good report, submitted to Parliament. Meanwhile, Devagowda government came up. Some of the important political leaders, I don't want to say name here, they objected. If the bill is passed, throughout India, you can say for the eligibility of the Prime Ministers, 4 or 5 members will be there. If the reservation occupied all women, so you can't find Prime Minister candidate. So without Prime Minister candidate, how the country goes? It's a peculiar argument. So if women cannot lead this country, whatever చెప్పారట నేనే పుట్టకపోతే నేను ఎవరి పని చేసుకుంటానంటే వాడు అన్నాడంట నీ అమ్మని చేసుకుంటానని చెప్పాడట. అట్లా ఆల్రెడీ పుట్టున్నారు, ఆల్రెడీ born here. Anybody can take power. But anti-woman philosophy, that's why they rejected. The present Prime Minister, before coming to the power, he promised that when I am coming to the power, implementing the woman reservation bill. He promised. Now he got a commendable majority without depending on others. Manmohan Singh government and Devagowda government, Gujral government, they don't have an absolute majority. If somebody opposed, they cannot introduce the bill. But the BJP government, they got absolute majority. They can pass the bill. But why he is not passing the bill? Why he is not introducing? Though his promise, that promise made by not Kavitha, that promise made by Prime Minister of India, Modi, now he is avoiding. That is why this is the just and genuine demand and the very, very good report before the Parliament, and they can accept. All will support. Though communists, we are opposing BJP. TRS also opposing BJP. But let him initiate Prime Minister Modi to introduce bill in Parliament. Definitely our party will support this bill. Though we are opposing the political party, but this bill we will support. The way I am not coming forward, that's why this is Kavitha and myself and all are from Telangana movement, we are here. separate state of Telangana, the CPI, the first party, national party, has officially resolved that supporting Telangana. From that onwards, we are fighting. Both the streets, outside, everywhere, we fought like anything. That's why she got fighting capacity and experience with the people's movement. Now she take up that issue. This issue is not the Kavitha, this issue belongs to the entire woman flock and also all democratic forces. That's why we want to support here and inside the parliament and outside the parliament. Like, you can announce. You can announce.
Welcome to the conference, Priyanka ma'am. Please, can you get onto the stage?
So I promise, Kavitha ji, already we got experience fighting the streets. Now we are ready to fight in the streets and also in the parliament. Our MP is also here. So I promised that this bill should be strengthened. And what kind of agitation means? We have our own steps of agitation outside and inside. That's why this roundtable meeting is not confined only limited part those who attended. Those who are not attended also, there's also responsibility that they have committed for the Women's Reservation Bill. We are wholeheartedly supporting, and in future, inside the parliament and outside the parliament, we will definitely take up the issue and fight for. Wish you all the best.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप सभी को नमस्कार। आज इकट्ठे हुए हैं हम विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल पर बातचीत करने के लिए। तो यहाँ आए हुए सभी स्टूडेंट्स को, सभी एमपीस महोदय, मुख्य अतिथि, सबको हाथ जोड़कर नमस्कार और आप सबका यहाँ पे हम सादर अभिनंदन करते हैं। इसी कड़ी में आगे मैं इनवाइट करना चाहूँगी सरदार गुरनाम सिंह चढ़ूनी जी, जो बीआरएस के किसान सेल के राष्ट्रीय नेता हैं और बीकेयू चढ़ूनी के नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट हैं। सर, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि इस महिला बिल के बारे में आपके क्या विचार हैं?
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा हमारी बेटी कविता जी का, जिन्होंने बहुत अच्छा ये मुद्दा देश के सामने उठाया है और सभी का जो सभी मौजूद हमारे भाई, हमारी बहनें मंच पे बैठे हैं, सामने बैठे सभी हमारे भाई, बच्चे, हमारे पत्रकार भाई, देखिए हर क्षेत्र में महिलाओं ने कीर्तिमान स्थापित किए। चाहे पढ़ाई में देख लें, चाहे खेल में देख लें, चाहे नौकरी के क्षेत्र में देख लें और चाहे राजनीति के क्षेत्र में देख लें, सभी जगह जो महिलाओं का काम है वो बहुत अच्छा और बहुत टॉप पर रहा है। और ये जो मुद्दा है कि महिला बिलवाड़ा के बराबर हिस्सा होना चाहिए, जब आबादी बराबर है तो हमारा विचार है कि हिस्सा भी बराबर जरूर होना चाहिए देश को चलाने में, देश का नेतृत्व करने में। तो हम इस बात का समर्थन करते हैं और उसके साथ साथ ये भी कहते हैं कि देश की जितनी राजनीतिक पार्टियां, जितने सामाजिक संगठन, जितने हमारे मीडिया वाले भाई, उन सबको भी इसका समर्थन करना चाहिए। सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। इसी कड़ी में मैं आगे आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी मिसेस रेखा, जो सोशल एक्टिविस्ट हैं। मैम, आप महिला बिल से संबंधित अपने क्या विचार रखते हैं? महिलाओं को आगे आना चाहिए, नहीं आना चाहिए?
आप सबको मेरी नमस्कार। मैं अमेरिका से आई हुई हूँ। इनको अप्रिशिएट करते हैं कविता मैम को, तो इनके साथ अभी 2-3 दिन पहले वहाँ बैठे थे एक मोर्चा प्रोटेस्ट ऑन द वुमेन्स रिजर्वेशन बिल। आई एम डिलाइटेड टू सी प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी, whom I admire so greatly, and I always reply to your tweets from New York, let me tell you that. And most of all, who's called me here is to be blamed is Vineet Narayan, my brother. he pushed me onto the stage. I don't know why. But what I want to congratulate all of you about is so nice to see you youngsters from schools, because when we participated in the women's empowerment movement time of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, we spoke about GEMS, which was Gender Equality Movement in Schools. I hope you people remember that, read about it. And there were so many others. We were CEDAW, we were VAW, Violence Against Women. There was so much that we guys did. And we are so happy that your younger generation is carrying it forward. So our blessings to you people. This must be done. We must get it. It is, something that has been lingering for more than 26 years. So it's about time. Sardarji said very rightly that we are half the population, so we should get our rights. But not because of that. We must get our rights because we deserve our rights. We have worked for it. We work equally so well in every sphere. So the nation won't advance if we don't advance. We get empowered, the nation gets empowered. And, it's women's empowerment is nice because when a woman learns to fight, she can fight any coward. So that's what's important when women get forward. So I'm not going to talk too much because I'm always caught unprepared. I can speak volumes on the women's bill and the women's movement because I've been an activist almost since birth. I got it from my mom. But today there are so many other distinguished people here and I should not bite into their time. So they must speak. I came to hear more than talk myself. But children, my blessings are for you. Please carry this message forward from your homes, into your schools, into your communities, that women are your equals. All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. महिलाएं 50% आबादी की हकदार हैं, वो वोट देती हैं, 50% की संख्या में हम मौजूद हैं, तो हमें सत्ता में आने का अधिकार क्यों नहीं है? मैम, आपने सही क्वेश्चन रेज किया है. इसी कड़ी में प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी मैम से पूछना चाहूंगी कि मैम आपका इस बिल के लिए और आपकी पार्टी का क्या स्टैंड है?
Before Priyanka you speak, because you missed out of the introduction, I just wanted to request you that this roundtable conference wants to primarily focus on what tools can be utilized inside the House of the Parliament to draw the attention of the government, like adjournment motions, like questions, like tabling private member bills, etc. So if you could also include that in your speech.
So thank you so much for your kind words. Firstly, about me, I had no idea that I had fans in New York and they respond to my tweets. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kavitha ji, for making me a part of this discussion, the roundtable discussion. When you mentioned the discussion and the tools we can use, the most important tool which, you have, Sumati has been a part of, that I started an initiative where young girls like them could apply to a fellowship program where they could intern with women members of parliament. Women, supporting women, helping them with research, and they giving them their experience and exposure and a platform. And from there on, they would intern for 3 months with a policy think tank. So that when they go as, as someone with that fellowship, they are equipped not just to speak up on politics, but also on policy. And they're just not afraid with the kind of trolling that you see online when women are asked to keep quiet, women are told that they cannot speak beyond the point, they don't know much, they don't know enough. We know enough, we will contribute enough, and we will contribute as much as we want. And why should we stop at 50%? We can claim for 60% too, because it has been denied to us. One more thing I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, and something that always keeps playing in my mind, and I keep telling at every repeated discussion that we have on this. USA had to fight, the women in USA had to fight for their right to vote. They fought for it for several years. Our Indian constitution makers were so visionary and progressive in their thought that when they drew up the constitution, they decided that right equal on the basis of the gender. So when we had such constitutional makers, what stops us? Why were the barriers created to keep women out of politics? And that is where we need to change the equation. How we change the equation, one tool I've already mentioned that we as women parliamentarians have contributed. Sumati has been kind enough to accommodate some of our interns. At the same, oh, I'm so sorry. I keep calling her that. Oh, okay. The other part that we do, which I have also spoken about through my private members bill, is not about, I would say particularly about reservation, but about making policy and politics accessible for women. Every point in the parliament, and people keep telling me that women angle every. I said, I am a woman of it all, whether you talk about health, you talk about economics, you talk about foreign policy, you talk about migration, you talk about climate change. Women, intersectionality of all, and I will speak about women and the aspect of women in these spaces. So in all my speeches, I'm very conscious of the fact how when we are discussing whether it's abortion rights, whether it is about termination of pregnancy, I make conscious effort to ensure that all points are heard and all points are recorded in the parliamentary records. So those are things that we can do. Many times we have seen that women in parliament usually shy away from taking up gender causes. I've seen that many times. They say that, you know, our voters are also men. But I'm very certain that men would also accommodate the idea of having more women in policy making spaces, and if they together make that difference, it would be a better world for our young girls to be able to look at politics and policy as a career option, as an option to serve the nation. So those were my thoughts, and thank you so much for calling me once again.
So thank you, Priyanka ma'am. It was nice to hear that you push private members bill. So we hope that you will be pushing to pass the private members bill for women's empowerment as well, and you will support us. Thank you.
इसी कड़ी में नेक्स्ट आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी मिसेस प्रतिभा, जो आरएलडी की महिला राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं और राजस्थान से एमपी रही हैं। तो मैम, आप अपने विचार रखें और अपनी पार्टी का स्टैंड रखें।
नमस्कार, मैं कविता जी को बहुत बधाई देना चाहूंगी इस चीज की। ज्वलंत मुद्दा था और अब शायद 2 ही सेशन होने वाले, बिल रखा जा सकता है, उसके बाद तो इलेक्शन आ जाएंगे। और बड़े सही मौके पे इन्होंने ये प्रयास किया है कि इस महिला आरक्षण बिल के लिए बिल्कुल वक्त पे चोट करने का टाइम है अभी सरकार की। आप याद करिए, किसानों का आंदोलन था और सब लोग कहते थे कि भाई सरकार जो ये है इतनी जिद्दी है, कभी बैकफुट पे नहीं आएगी। और आप लोगों ने देखा, यूपी के चुनाव सामने थे और सरकार को घुटने टेकने पड़े और तीनों बिल वापस लेने पड़े। ये हिंदुस्तान की आधी आबादी की शक्ति है जो पास कराने के पीछे है। और पूरे हिंदुस्तान में आजादी की लड़ाई भी बिना महिलाओं की सहभागिता के बिना नहीं लड़ी गई थी। गांधी जी को अंत में हिंदुस्तान की महिलाओं को उस आंदोलन में शामिल करना पड़ा था और तब हम लोगों ने उस आजादी की लड़ाई को जीता था। तो ये हमें अंदर पार्लियामेंट में जो भी ऑपोजिशन की ज्यादातर पार्टियां हैं, और ये एक ऐसा मुद्दा है, यदि बिल प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल भी पार्लियामेंट में इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया तो सरकार की जो किसान आंदोलन के बिल पे स्थिति थी सांप छछूंदर वाली, न तो निगला जाएगा न उगला जाएगा, वो स्थिति इनकी होने वाली है। इसलिए मजबूती से बाहर और एक इसी किस्म के को सलाह देना चाहूंगी मेरी तरफ से कि आपको यहाँ पे बाहर भी प्रेशर इसके अंदर डेवलप करना चाहिए। अंदर प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल रखेंगे तो सरकार को उसके अंदर हाँ ना का जवाब देना पड़ेगा। ना का जवाब चुनाव की साल में कोई पार्टी नहीं दे सकती है, चाहे उसके पास कितना भी बहुमत हो। तो मैं, हमारा पूरा सपोर्ट है। और ऊपर से 2 ही पार्टी बन के आई है, एक मर्द की एक औरत की, और हम 50% है। इसलिए आपने ये बहुत सही मौके पे कविता जी ने ये मुद्दा रखा है, और हम सब लोग हाथ से हाथ मिला के एक दूसरे को मजबूत करेंगे और सरकार को विवश करेंगे कि वो इस बिल को पास करे। जय हिंद।
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Mr.
Manoj
Manoj Jha,
ji,
sir. Please
MP
come on to
Rajya
the
Sabha,
stage.
please.
And Ms. Mahua Maji from JMM, Member of Parliament. Ma'am, please come on stage. Ma'am, the docket that we are giving to the MPs today has a draft private members bill, and it has a lot of questions. Vishnu, one more docket to Manoj Jha sir ke liye ek aur docket. Madam ke liye ek aur docket de dena. So that also has a draft private member bill. It has many questions on women reservation bill that can be posed, and it has a full history of the women reservation. So that is our small, sabko pen drive bhi de dijiye please. This is our small effort from Bharat Jagruthi, so that member of parliamentarians, if required, can get some inputs from this. And with that, I would like to invite Mr. Azad to please express your views.
हेलो, सबसे पहले तो मंच पे उपस्थित मेरे सारे साथी, कविता जी, आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आपने एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट मुद्दे को उठाया है। और हमारी पार्टी भीम आर्मी आज़ाद समाज पार्टी, जो एक दलितों का, पिछड़ों का, आदिवासियों का रिप्रेजेंटेशन करती है, उसमें महिलाओं का रिप्रेजेंटेशन सबसे ऊपर है, सबसे अहम है, और हम उसके लिए हमेशा लड़ते आए हैं और लड़ते रहेंगे। और मैं उसके साथ साथ आप लोगों को आज बधाई भी देना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि मान्यवर साहेब कांसी राम का आज जन्मदिन है, और वो एक ऐसे महापुरुष थे जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान की पूरी राजनीति बदल के रख दी, क्योंकि वो एक सोच लेके चले थे, और वो सोच थी कि जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी उतनी हिस्सेदारी। ये एक ऐसी सोच थी जिसने हिंदुस्तान की राजनीति को बदला, सोच को बदला, क्योंकि यहाँ पे बात पूरी संख्या की और उस संख्या के रिप्रेजेंटेशन की थी। और अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछूं कि आज आपके सामने अगर कोई आता है, तो जब वो आपके सामने होता है, आज सबसे पहले आपके दिमाग में क्या ख्याल आता है? क्या हिंदू मुसलमान का ख्याल आता है? क्या दलित या ब्राह्मण का ख्याल आता है? या सबसे पहला ख्याल ये आता है कि ये महिला है कि पुरुष है? जब भगवान ने हमें बनाया, भगवान कह लीजिए, बायोलॉजी, नेचर, एवोल्यूशन, जिस तरह की आप धारणा रखते हैं, लेकिन कहने का मतलब सिर्फ इतना है कि ऊपर से सिर्फ दो रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, महिला और पुरुष का। और जब बात करें इस धारणा को साहब कांशीराम की विचारधारा के साथ जोड़ने की, क्योंकि हमारी पार्टी का नाम ही आजाद समाज पार्टी कांशीराम है, हम साहब की विचारधारा को लेके आगे चलते हैं। उनका साफ कहना है कि जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी उतनी हिस्सेदारी। तो वो हिस्सेदारी जमीन से लेके, इंस्टीट्यूशन से लेके और पार्लियामेंट तक हर जगह पे मिलनी चाहिए। हम उसका पुरजोर समर्थन करते हैं और हम पूरी तरह से इस बिल के साथ हैं। हम ये चाहते हैं कि ये बिल जल्द से जल्द पार्लियामेंट में पास हो। हम इसका पूरा समर्थन करते हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much. You can speak.
Honorable MP Manoj Jha ji, Rajya Sabha MP, can you please have a few words?
No,
and
sir will speak first.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Binoy ji, you can start off.
Shukriya. Thank you so much, Kavitha ji and everybody on the dais. We stand in solidarity with this idea of the bill. मेरी पार्टी का थोड़ा एक अलग उसमें जो आज़ाद समाज के हमारे साथी बोल रहे थे, हमारी पार्टी का मानना है कि in order to have the widest representation, one must look for reservation within reservation. So we advocate a plank which is SC, ST, OBC women on the overall quantum of reservation which we are talking about and appealing for and pressing for within that reservation. This is a long pending demand. The only thing is that tells you that the structures we have built in last 75 years, which are so fundamentally patriarchal, they are not willing to relent in order to have this kind of reservation, where we again reiterate reservation within reservation. We must have a kind of strategy whereby issues are raised in parliament as well as outside. What I have seen in my limited experience, that a mass movement on the road makes the parliament come down on its knees. That's we have seen in case of farmers movement and so many other movements. We remain in solidarity with all of you, your idea, with the addition what I just said. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Once again, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, Mr. Jha. The idea of quota within quota, or the idea of having the census of the OBC itself, has been widely supported now. But unfortunately, from 2014 till date, even the regular census is also not taken. That is something we are all also demanding. And thank you so much for expressing the solidarity, sir.
May I request Honorable Rajya Sabha MP Binoy Vishwamji to have a few words for us.
Friends,
किसान लीडर मिस्टर बलबीर सिंह राजेवाल जी हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं. उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि प्लीज स्टेज पे आएं सर.
I believe that all of us who have come here are committed to a cause, and we are in one voice here to tell that we stand for the Women Reservation Bill to get passed as early as possible. Very easy to say so much, but to get it done, it needs a lot of struggle to continue. The main reason is that our society is a patriarchal one. Our politics also is patriarchal. Even those parties who speak in terms of women empowerment, the real question comes, in their hierarchy also, the patriarchal tendencies of the male folk will come on the way and see that by this reason or that reason, the Women Reservation Bill is not realized. I, being a communist, is proud to say and to mention a name, and that name is of Comrade Geeta Mukherjee. I should say, Comrade Geeta Mukherjee, all along her life, stood for this cause. And I request the young students here to learn more about her and to understand what role she has played in getting the bill up to this stage. The committee of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, which she was the chairperson, it did enormous job to see that this idea is being taken up by all the political forces of the country. And that struggle has to continue. We have heard a lot utilizing the women of the country. In a poetic way, people used to say, half the sky and half the earth belongs to women. Very, very beautiful to hear that. Half the sky and half the earth. Is it true? No, in the country of ours, forget half the sky, forget half the earth. The right of the women to give birth to a girl child even at this stage of the 21st century, sometimes denied. The government of the day sometimes is trying to say that there is no right for the women to be equal. On so many occasions we have seen in the parliament also. And in such a situation, the political battle, unifying all the forces who stand for this cause, should be intensified. And we, the Communist Party, view this initiative by Kavitha ji as a part of that movement. In that sense, we have a request to the Prime Minister, who chairs the G20 these days. They claim that G20 chairmanship for India is something great, rewarded for Modi himself. We all know. So the rotation. This year it's India. It was Indonesia earlier. Next year somebody else will come. Rotation it is. Anyhow, now Modi ji is the chairman of the G20. In the G20 agenda we have seen, an important point is that women empowerment. I have a challenge to Mr. Modi. Will he be there enough to see that when the G20 summit takes place in Delhi, can he assure that before that this bill will be passed by the government of India? If that is there, we can say that what they say is true. Minus that, we can only say that words are beautiful, deeds are not. So at the moment we need the deeds, not words. I conclude here.
Thank you, Binay ji. May I request Ms. Sumati, Honorable MP from Chennai South, DMK, to please have a few words with us.
Sumati is my maiden name, but I'm known as Tamarachi, the pseudonym with which I write my poems. Basically, I'm a poet, a former professor of English, but I do write my creative literature in my native language, Tamil. That's why I've adopted the name Tamarachi. So I'd like to congratulate Madam Kavitha for having taken up this wonderful initiative, especially involving all the school children to make themselves sensitized about the most pressing topic or the issue of this country. And as a proud Tamilian, I come from the land of Periyar. And Periyar is far above all the European feminists, I would say. You must be familiar with this name. And Dr. Kalaignar, our founder head of the party DMK, was a pioneer of the reservation movement. And for all the students who have gathered here, Tamil Nadu, when Kalaignar was the chief minister, was the first state to give the property rights to women way back in 1986. Right from that time onwards, we have had a long history, pioneering history, in fighting for the women's rights. Especially recently, our Tamil Nadu chief minister, Mr. Thalapathy M.K. Stalin, in the local body elections, had pitched one Priya Rajan in the history of Corporation of Chennai, 200 years of history, the colonial history. Priya Rajan was the second woman mayor who's going to serve the full term. And there are 100 women councillors in Tamil Nadu, thanks to the reservation policy of our chief minister. So that's like a prelude to the whatever issues we are just discussing here. Somebody gave a cue about the patriarchal mindset, I believe, Manoja, I think. Then we had to start from Aristotle. We all, like worship Aristotle. I do have a due respect because I'm an English professor. I learned a lot from him. But still, it was Aristotle who said, when men were born, there was light, but when women were born, there was darkness. He had such a subordinate views about women. But even at that time, even before, Christ was born, 5,000 years ago, 4th century BC, when Aristotle was teaching to his disciples that women were subordinate to men, a woman by name Aspasia disguised herself as a man and took up the pride of being the world's first woman doctor, because those days only men were allowed to do medicine. So we were progressive not only in this millennial era, we were born like that. And in fact, reservation is a birthright. It's not that somebody has to give it, put it on a platter and we need to take it from them. It's a birthright, and we need not even emphasize on 50%, 60% or 70%. So what I would like the young minds to register is that to get women empowerment in all the stages, walks of life, you should be placed in the strategic positions to make decisions. That's why Madam Kavitha has taken up this initiative, because Women Reservation Bill will place women to sit in strategic decision-making positions, to speak up for them, to bring about the rights for them, and it's high time. So many hurdles we have faced in bringing about this bill, and lots have been talked and spoken and voiced about it. As parliamentarians, we are all united here, especially our party, which has always stood up and which will be standing up for the rights, especially for this bill, will definitely extend the support. And as had been rightly mentioned by Madam Kavitha here, we will also make all the interventions in all the possible manners. We are not going to stop just by putting a question in this session or just by raising a 377 in some other session. We will all, I think, put up pressure by working continuously towards it until otherwise, like the top head will budge in. But it's not an easy task. Again, that was their electoral promise, but they have not kept, as usual, none of their promises. And this has been pushed under the carpet. And there's a huge silence also about it. And one more point I would like to make here is, I'm happy that the Abayan students are getting sensitized, but this initiative needs to be taken to the rural side also. Because I come from a rural area, and I believe not in just an European or a Western feminism, just getting and then giving to a rural women. We should frame a rural feminism or a regional feminism, because caste is one strange problem which we have, Westerners or Europeans, they don't understand the intricate problems of it. So we have to deal, sensitizing the rural women also with this concept, and it's a battle in which we all join together, and we will definitely, we may, like lose a battle here, but the war is still there. We will fight this battle, and we will see to that the bill see the light of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Can we invite Mr. Srinivas from the National Disability Network to come onto the stage, please?
हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं डॉक्टर टीएस हसन, एमपी लोकसभा। सर कृपया स्टेज पे आएं। सर प्लीज कम ऑन द स्टेज। समाजवादी पार्टी, यस सर।
May I invite Honorable MP Santosh Kumar ji to have a few words.
My party's stand is already made clear by Comrade K. Narayana and Binoy Vishnu. We, the CPI, do support 33%, at least 33% women reservation in Parliament and state legislative assemblies. And as it is explained by Comrade Binoy Vishnu, one of our former parliamentarians, I should say legendary parliamentarians, Geeta Mukherjee was the pioneer of this movement. So I'll take this opportunity to congratulate Kavitha ji for this timely initiative. But let me add just one point. Almost all political parties are in favor of this. Media is in favor of this. By and large, our population is in favor of this, but it is not getting implemented. What is the main reason? This is to be addressed. And I don't think these all ordinary parliamentary procedures, which were suggested by the organizers, 0 hours, submission, adjournment motions, private will, that's not going to fetch anything. The most important thing is that we have a male-dominated society and system, and that mindset has to be ended. And the idea of adult franchise, universal adult franchise, was opposed by the RSS in 1952. That was the organization which opposed this very idea of universal adult franchise. I don't want to go to the details and the history of that. So the present dispensation is supported by an organization like RSS. So we are not expecting anything from them. In the presidential address, the last one, there is not even a single line on this important issue of women reservation. So what we need is a mass movement in which all sections of society can join, like the Kisan movement, something like that. And in almost all political parties, this male chauvinistic tendencies are there very much. That must be stopped. And I don't think reservation in reservation, that is, this separate quota is not need of the hour. We can think about it later. Let us get this implemented first, then reservation in reservation can be, that can be achieved. This is my party's position. So once again, I extend my party's full support to this initiative by Kavitha ji and her political party.
Thank you, Santosh ji. May I request Honorable MP from Aam Aadmi Party, Raghav Chadda ji, to please get onto the stage. Thank you. Honorable MP Mahua Maji ji, can you please have some valuable words for us?
मंच और इस प्रांगण में उपस्थित सभी डिग्निटरीज को, मीडिया के बंधुओं को, स्टूडेंट्स को मेरी तरफ से जोहार, नमस्कार। मैं कविता जी को धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगी कि आपने इस तरह का प्रयास किया। हम सभी आपके साथ हैं। मैं झारखंड से बिलोंग करती हूँ और आप सभी जानते हैं कि 32 ट्राइब्स झारखंड में रहते हैं, जिनमें से 7 प्रिमिटिव ट्राइब्स हैं। और पूरे देश में जो ट्रैफिकिंग की घटनाएं होती हैं या डायन हत्याओं की घटना होती है महिलाओं के साथ, तो उसमें से झारखंड का नाम भी है और जिसके लिए हम बहुत शर्मिंदा हैं। और मैं चूँकि विमेन कमीशन में चेयरपर्सन रह चुकी हूँ झारखंड में, तो मैं बिल्कुल चाहती हूँ कि ये महिला आरक्षण हो, क्योंकि आज़ादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहे हैं हम लोग। और अभी तक दोनों सदन मिलाकर आपको पता होगा कि 14% से ज़्यादा नहीं है महिलाओं की संख्या। इसलिए हम अपनी पार्टी की तरफ से, पूरे झारखंड की तरफ से निश्चित रूप से इसका समर्थन करते हैं और मांग करते हैं कि अविलंब आरक्षण हो, क्योंकि महिला हिंसा की घटनाएं भी दिन ब दिन बढ़ती जा रही है। मुझे लगता है इसकी वजह ये है कि महिलाएं अपनी आवाज़ नहीं उठा पाती। अगर महिलाओं की संख्या बढ़ेगी तो निश्चित रूप से वो अपने लिए आवाज़ उठाएंगी। निश्चित रूप से अगर जो कानून है उसके बावजूद हिंसा बढ़ती जा रही है या उन्हें बराबरी का दर्जा नहीं मिल रहा है, तो अपने बारे में बात कर पाएगी। हमारे यहाँ माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी लगातार महिलाओं को आगे लाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं। बहुत सारी ऐसी योजनाएं लॉन्च की हैं कि खेल के क्षेत्र में, इसके अलावा रोजगार के क्षेत्र में वो स्वावलंबी हो, सम्मानजनक रोजगार से जुड़े, ताकि उनकी ट्रैफिकिंग ना हो सके। इसके बावजूद कहीं ना कहीं राजनीति में चूंकि महिलाएं आगे नहीं बढ़ पाती हैं, इसलिए हम पिछड़ जाते हैं। आपको पता होगा कि झारखंड से बहुत सारे वीर शहीदों का नाम आता है, जैसे सिद्धू कान्हू, चांद भैरव, तिलंगा खड़िया, बिरसा मुंडा, ऐसे बहुत सारे नाम हैं जिन्होंने आज़ादी की लड़ाइयाँ लड़ी अपने राज्य के लिए। लेकिन आप में से किसी को पता नहीं होगा कि उनमें से महिलाएं कौन थी। सिंगी दई, कैली दई, फूलो झानो जैसे ऐसे बहुत सारे नाम हैं जिन्होंने उन आंदोलनों में बढ़ चढ़ कर हिस्सा लिया, उन्होंने शहादत दी। लेकिन चूंकि वो महिला थी, उनका नाम कोई नहीं जानता है, इतिहास में उनका नाम दर्ज ही नहीं हो पाया। तो मुझे लगता है अब समय आ गया है कि हम अपनी भूल को सुधारें और अविलंब महिला आरक्षण बिल लागू करें। मैं इसके लिए आप सबको, पूरी टीम को दिल से धन्यवाद देती हूँ और मुझे यहाँ आमंत्रित करने के लिए आभार।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम हमारे सहयोग के लिए और हमें आश्वासन देने के लिए। इसी कड़ी में मैं आगे बुलाना चाहूंगी किसान लीडर सर राजेवाल जी को कि आप विमेन बिल पे अपने विचार रखें। महिलाओं ने किसान सम्मेलन जो था, किसान आंदोलन जो था, उसमें बढ़ चढ़ के हिस्सा लिया, तो क्या वो राजनीति में हिस्सा नहीं ले सकती?
धन्यवाद कविता जी, आपने मुझे इस मंच पे बुलाया। किसान आंदोलन में हमने देखा है कि बहुत बड़े स्तर पे बहनों ने हमारा साथ दिया और मैं समझता हूँ कोई भी आंदोलन सफल नहीं हो सकता बगैर महिलाओं के साथ के। आपने इनिशिएटिव लिया है, बहुत देर से ये बात चल रही है, बहुत सालों से चल रही है बात कि विमेन रिजर्वेशन होनी चाहिए पार्लियामेंट में, लेजिस्लेचर्स में, लेकिन ये फिर मामला दब जाता है। पता नहीं क्या क्या कारण है, क्या है, पॉलिटिकल रीजंस आप समझते होंगे, लेकिन ये हमेशा इस मुद्दे पे बात आके चर्चा होती है फिर अटक जाती है कहीं ना कहीं। तो मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ आपने ये मुद्दा उठाया और स्टूडेंट्स को बुलाया। हर काम के लिए मेरा जो पर्सनल तजर्बा है कि पहले कोई भी काम एजिटेशन के लिए होता है, पहले एजुकेट, देन ऑर्गेनाइज एंड देन एजिटेट। तो पहले लोगों को मुद्दे के बारे में एजुकेट करना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है। ये इनिशिएटिव अच्छा है, लेकिन इसको आगे गांव-गांव ले जाने की ज़रूरत है। और बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा देश की आबादी का ऐसा है जहां लोगों को ऐसे मुद्दों के बारे में कुछ जानकारी ही नहीं पहुंचती वहां तक। तो बहुत बड़ा काम है। मुझे उम्मीद है आपने इनिशिएटिव लिया है, अब सफल होंगे। धन्यवाद।
No, students probably wanted to have questions. So if you have some time, we can probably take the. Yeah, if anybody is interested.
Yeah, we have quite a few students here. If somebody has any question, okay.
Somebody put their hand because when I was interacting with them earlier.
Hello. Hello ma'am, my name is Chirag Jain and I am journalism student from Delhi University. मेरा क्वेश्चन के कविता मैम से है। इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं मैम कि आप वुमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल के लिए एक लंबा संघर्ष कर रहे हैं और लगातार जंतर मंतर से लेकर आप यहाँ तक अपनी मांगों को लेकर सरकार से गुहार लगा रहे हैं। लेकिन ऐसे में बीजेपी की ओर से एक बड़ा आपके ऊपर आरोप लगाया गया कि आपको ईडी का सामान आया, इसलिए आप विपक्षी एकता को लेकर और वुमेन रिजर्वेशन की आवाज उठाकर ये कर रहे हैं। तो आप इस पर क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
I have taken that question from Kavitha ji.
Definitely, sir.
You must look at the timeline
Yeah.
of when this idea started and when these activities from the ED and CBI started. Let's not follow the BJP trajectory and the timeline. If you ask for water tomorrow, they might tell you that you are asking for water because ED, you are worried about ED and CBI. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have anybody else who can ask questions from the student
There's a
fraternity?
girl
Okay.
in that table.
Yeah, pass on the mic, please.
Hello, ma'am. I am a media student from IMS Ghaziabad. मैम के कविता मैम और मनोज झा सर दोनों से मैं सवाल करना चाहती हूँ कि विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल अगर पास हो गया तो वो तो ठीक है, अगर इसके अलग से आप और क्या क्या विमेन्स के लिए सोचते हैं और करना चाहते हैं? थैंक यू सर।
विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल एक पॉलिटिकल एम्पावरमेंट का ही तरीका नहीं है। एक बार सदन में या असेंबली में कोई महिला खड़े होकर बात करती है तो जनरली ज़्यादा तौर पे महिलाओं के मुद्दा बहुत ज़्यादा उठाती है, और इसके साथों साथ जो महिला संसद में या असेंबली में खड़े होकर बात करती है उनको देख के इतने लोग इंस्पायर हो जाते हैं कि हर एक क्षेत्र में महिलाएं आगे आने के लिए इंटरेस्ट दिखाती है। तीसरी मेरी बात, not only in politics but women empowerment should be wholesome. It could be business, it could be education, it could be employment. सारे चीज़ों में बातें होने चाहिए। काफ़ी सारे ऐसे स्टेट्स हैं जिसने एम्प्लॉयमेंट में रिजर्वेशन दिए वुमेन्स को। Like for example, my state gave 33% reservation for women in police. There are many states who give reservation for women students. There are a lot of states who work for fee reimbursement. There are many states who encourage women entrepreneurs. तो हर किस क्षेत्र में एक प्रयास हो रहा है, लेकिन राजनीति एक ऐसा क्षेत्र है कि हमेशा से ही एक मेल डोमिनेटेड क्षेत्र है, और हमने लोकल बॉडीज में सिर्फ रिजर्वेशन दिए हैं और अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस है महिलाओं का। तो वो मुझे लगता है अभी असेंबली में भी होने चाहिए, लोकसभा में भी होने चाहिए, तब जाके देश का सही रिप्रेजेंटेशन हो पाएगा। दैट इज व्हाट आई वांटेड टू से, एंड यू कैन ऐड सर।
In fact, everything has been explained by her. You know, in spite of, say, 75 years of India's independence, there has been glass ceiling even now in several spheres, in several sectors. Breaking those glass ceiling would be rather easy if we have this kind of reservation. For instance, I'll tell you, many of you may not know. When Laluji was the chief minister, Bihar was the first state which went for 2 days of compulsory paid menstrual leave. I mean, nobody ever thought in 1990s. Now today this is gaining momentum. And not only this is gaining momentum, all other important issues which were put under the carpet, they are coming on the surface, and society and the state has to respond to that. Thank you.
One more question.
Hello everyone. I am Sachin from Delhi University. And ma'am, my question to you is, we all know that in 1993, we already given the reservation, 1/3 reservation for the women in
Local
Panchayati Raj Vyavastha. But we all know already that what is the reality of that on the roots level, that the lack of the implementation. So what is your views on that, and how it is important to more worrying about the implementation at the same time when we are asking about the reservation, and you very conventionally fighting for that. So what is your views, and Manoj sir, you also. Thank you.
No, very good question, Priyanka ji. All of us should pitch in. I believe Sachin is mentioning about the Sarpanchpati culture, where नहीं वही पूछ रहे.
Because of the patriarchal system and
Exactly.
structure.
तो महिलाएं सरपंच बनेंगे या महिलाएं ZPTC बनेंगे, MPTC बनेंगे, कॉर्पोरेटर बनेंगे. काफी जगहों पे ऐसा है कि उनके फैमिली मेल मेंबर कोई ना कोई उनके जगह काम करता है. कई बार ऐसे होता है दफ्तर में आके बैठ जाते हैं, ऐसा होता है. लेकिन आप वो जर्नी को एक बार स्टडी करेंगे तो when we've introduced it in 1996 till date, more than 80% of women now independently take their decisions. And when I am there, suppose I'm a member of parliament or member of legislative council, I request the women to come and sit on the dais. I say, not their representative. If you are a sarpanch, you are a woman, you please come onto the dais. So if there is a little bit of encouragement, they have learned the procedures, they have learned how to speak, they have learned how to deal with issues. So there is a lot of independence that is already achieved. I'm sure it will go further. अगर पार्लियामेंट में या असेंबली में करेंगे तो मे बी 10-20 years वही हालत होगा, लेकिन नहीं करेंगे तो 50 साल में भी यही हालत होगा. So that is the issue that I want to highlight.
I'll tell you, because you're a student, I would ask you to Google it. There have been studies, many PhD even in Delhi University, where what happened in 1995-96, the reality in 2022-23 is fundamentally different. Now, the idea of Sarpanchpati is a matter of ridicule. Women are taking the decision, they are asserting, and in several cases, they are telling their husbands or the male relatives, mind your business. That's it.
Thank you, sir.
So that concept of backseating, this is not in Kerala and many parts of the country. So that question is actually based on absolutely wrong points. It's incorrect to the facts, not true to the facts. So kindly understand that women are capable of taking serious decisions. It's happening in many parts of the country, especially in the southern side. I can proudly say in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, in Maharashtra, in many states, women are capable enough to take serious decisions and to get it implemented.
I just want to add one thing, and since it's coming from a very young student and a young mind, this notion of women are being controlled by men has to end. And even if out of 50 women who are, who are elected, some are supported by their husbands, after the first term, they'll end up taking decisions on their own. But it is a proven fact. It is a proven fact that women, when they're given these kind of positions of authority, they do way better in all indicators of development, in all indicators of inclusiveness, to make a society which is more progressive, more inclusive, and more developed.
Can we have one more question before we have our panelists speak? Or one more.
Hello, ma'am. And sir, I am Shreya from IMS, and मेरा सवाल ये है कि जैसा कि अभी वुमेन्स बिल लागू हो रहा है, तो आप लोगों को लगता है कि ये पास ऑन हो जाएगा? बिकॉज आई कैन सी मेनी ऑफ द डिफरेंट पार्टी पीपल स्टैंडिंग हियर, बट कोई एक पार्टी या फिर सब मिल करके एक पार्टी को बीट नहीं कर पाता है. लाइक इफ आई टॉक अबाउट बीजेपी, तो वो एक प्रपोजल लाते हैं और बोलते हैं कि हम 2024 तक कर देंगे, हम 2022 तक कर देंगे, एंड दे एग्जैक्टली डू इट. वो करते हैं, बट एज एन इंडिविजुअल डिफरेंट पार्टी से नहीं कर पाती है, एक जगह आकर के अपना स्टैंड नहीं ले पाते. बट आई कैन सी पार्टी के एक लीडर आकर के अपने मुद्दे को रख रहे, बट वो एक्सट्रीम लेवल पे नहीं जा पाता, नेशनल लेवल पे नहीं जा पाता.
Can somebody translate that into English?
Actually, she is asking that individually we speak about this, but there is one party, which is the big party. I mean, she should understand the functioning of parliamentary democracy, how it functions. So you explain that when we individually, she needs your input, that individually we speak, but what is our blueprint in terms of what we propose to do in terms of reservation?
I think if you are in the habit of seeing the news regularly, recently we had celebrated the birthday of our Chief Minister, and that juncture, he had specifically made this point that like-minded parties who have the like-minded ideology should pitch themselves together against, as you say, that one big party to fight battles like this. So it's not the case that we all gather here at one point of time of a certain issues and then we just disperse. A discourse has been going on, and like-minded parties, you know, like are into discussion, and then we will definitely, our party leaders will come to a conscientious decisions when we are facing elections. Not that we are just meeting and then going away or just issue-based things. Most of the political parties who share the same ideology, especially on important issues like this, we are all gathering ourselves together to fight a common enemy. So you can see that probably in the forthcoming elections that a very good, fruitful alliance can be formed up to pitch ourselves ideologically. Those who believe in secularism, those who believe in women empowerment, those who believe in gender equality, those who believe that India is a diverse country with all the pluralism, who uphold all these values will definitely join together, and we will definitely win a battle. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very inspiring. Let us take a small break for questions. We have few guests that we have to invite onto the stage. Let us continue our panel discussion, and still again at the end of the round table, we'll take questions whoever might have. So can I request Honorable MP Lok Sabha Premachandran ji to come onto the stage, please? Also, can we have Bhupendra Chaudhary ji from RLD, spokesperson, to get onto the stage? Okay. Can we have Mr. Srinivas from the National Disability Network to have a few words for us on the Women's Reservation Bill?
Sabko namaskar. My name is Srinivasulu. In the society, very important is a very neglected and what a disadvantaged group of women and all disabled. Why I am coming here? कविता जी ने हमारा डिजेबल्ड का बिल में दो इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ था 2014 से 2016 तक अपना डिजेबल्ड मूवमेंट चल रहे हैं नेशनल लेवल जो जब टाइम डिजेबल्ड सेक्टर सर्चिंग टू द सपोर्ट टू द पॉलिटिकल एमपीज so we approached the Kavitha madam MP. She is involved and she advocating the what is the neighbor collaborated MPs, and now 2016 our disabled bill is passed. The 21 types of disability people are enjoyed now in India. So in this country, nearly 10% of the disabled population, and even you know that the disabled population is a same 50% of women with disability, same facing lot of problems. So community level as a CBO organization, national level, we have all national disability movement support to the women with disability cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Srinivas Garu. Can we have Honorable MP Raghav Chedda ji of the Aam Aadmi Party to have a few words, please?
थैंक यू सो मच. आम आदमी पार्टी की ओर से मैं इस मंच पे बीआरएस की नेता के कविता जी के इस मिशन का पुरजोर तरीके से समर्थन करता हूं और ये मांग करता हूं कि केंद्र में बैठी प्रचंड बहुमत की मोदी सरकार विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल को गंभीरता से लेते हुए अगले ही सत्र में मॉनसून सेशन में इस बिल को लाके पास करके एक इतिहास रचे भारत देश में. बड़े बरसों बाद एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी को इतना बड़ा जनादेश मिला है, प्रचंड बहुमत मिली है, और इतना बड़ा बहुमत लोगों ने इसलिए दिया कि बड़े रिफॉर्म्स आए और हिंदुस्तान की कई ऐसी कम्युनिटीज, कई ऐसे वर्ग, कई ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्हें और मजबूत करने की जरूरत है, मुख्य धारा की राजनीति में डालने की जरूरत है। और उस दिशा में अगर मोदी सरकार कोई कदम उठाएगी तो इस मंच पे बैठी तमाम पार्टियां पूरी तरीके से उनका समर्थन करेंगी। ये बहुत ही सराहनीय कदम है जो बीआरएस की नेता के कविता जी उठा रही हैं और हम इसका समर्थन करते हैं। मुझे याद आता है कि भारत के संविधान के रचयिता बाबा साहब अंबेडकर, जिन्हें हम अपना आदर्श मानते हैं, उन्होंने कहा था कि आई मेजर द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ अ कम्युनिटी बाय द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ विमेन विद इन दैट कम्युनिटी, कि मैं एक समाज कितनी तेजी से आगे बढ़ रहा है, कितनी रफ्तार से प्रगति कर रहा है, मैं इसे नापने के लिए उस समाज के भीतर जो महिलाएं हैं वो किस रफ्तार से प्रगति कर रही हैं, उससे, उस मापदंड से उस समाज की प्रगति का विश्लेषण करता हूं। और मुझे लगता है कि बाबा साहब के इस कथन को आज भी हम उतनी ही मजबूती से, गंभीरता से और वास्तविकता में आज भी वो कथन उतना ही जिंदा है जितना आज से 70 साल पहले था, जब बाबा साहब ने ये बात हम सबके देश के सामने रखी थी। ये भारत देश के लिए गर्व की बात नहीं है कि जब दुनिया के तमाम पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसीज की बात होती है तो ये जान पड़ता है कि 190 देशों में भारत देश 144वें स्थान पर है जहां तक महिलाओं की मुख्य धारा की राजनीति में प्रतिनिधित्व की बात है, कि महिलाएं आज इलेक्टेड पोजीशंस में भारत देश में नहीं हैं। और हम करीब करीब देश के, दुनिया के 143 देशों से पीछे हैं। हम चाहते तो हैं कि हमारा देश दुनिया का नंबर 1 देश बने, लेकिन जब तक विमेन पार्टिसिपेशन इन नेशनल पॉलिटिक्स, इन स्टेट पॉलिटिक्स, इन लोकल पॉलिटिक्स, इन फेडरल पॉलिटिक्स नहीं होगा, हमारा देश उस रफ्तार से आगे तरक्की नहीं कर पाएगा। कई बार इस देश में आजाद भारत के इतिहास में प्रयास किए गए विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल को एक वास्तविकता में तब्दील करने के लिए। HD देवेगौड़ा साहब जब देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे 1996 में, उन्होंने एक पहल करी। उसके बाद स्वर्गीय अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी साहब ने प्रयास किया। कांग्रेस की सरकार रही तो यूपीए 1, यूपीए 2 में प्रयास किए गए, लेकिन दुख की बात यह है कि ये सब प्रयास ही रह गए। ये इन प्रयासों ने कभी विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल को वास्तविकता में तब्दील नहीं होने दिया। तो मुझे लगता है कि अब समय आ गया है और अब हम सब लोग मिलकर, सारे लॉ मेकर्स मिलकर, पूरा समाज मिलकर इस बात को सुनिश्चित करे कि अब एक और पीढ़ी, एक और जनरेशन विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल के लिए लड़ते लड़ते समाप्त ना हो जाए। आज से ही हम लोग ये प्रण लें कि बहुत जल्द हम विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल लाकर सदन में पास कर उसे वास्तविकता में तब्दील करेंगे। और मुझे लगता है जब ऐसा कोई बिल केंद्र में बैठी प्रचंड बहुमत की बीजेपी सरकार लाएगी तो तमाम पार्टियां, वो जिस भी विचारधारा से आती हों, जिस भी धर्म में विश्वास रखती हों, जिस भी जुबान में बात करती हों, वो सारे लोग एक स्वर में इस बिल का समर्थन करेंगे। समय आ गया है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार अब इस कानून को वास्तविकता में तब्दील करे। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। जय हिंद।
थैंक यू राघव। थैंक यू राघव जी। May I request Honorable MP Kavitha to please address the gathering in Telugu.
చాలా సంతోషం. మొన్న కవిత గారు ఏదైతే 10వ తారీఖు నాడు అక్కడ జంతర్ మంతర్లో ధర్నా నిర్వహించిండ్రో ఆ రోజే అనిపించింది చాలా సరైన టైంలో చాలా మంచి నిర్ణయం తీసుకొని దాదాపు 18 పార్టీలను ఏకం చేసి ఆ రోజు ధర్నా చాలా సక్సెస్ చేసినాడే అనిపించింది. ఏదైతే మహిళా రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్లు ఉందో ఆ బిల్లు సరైన టైంలో కవిత గారు నిర్ణయం తీసుకొని ముందు నడుస్తున్నారు అనిపించింది. ముందుగా ఇవాళ రౌండ్ టేబుల్ సమావేశం నిర్వహిస్తున్న కవిత గారికి మనస్ఫూర్తిగా అభినందనలు తెలియజేస్తున్నా, ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియజేస్తా ఉన్నా. వేదికపై ఉన్న తోటి పార్లమెంట్ మెంబర్స్, మిగతా మెంబర్స్కి మరియు చాలామంది యూనివర్సిటీ నుంచి మరి అక్కడ వచ్చిన విద్యార్థులకు అందరికీ కూడా మీడియా మిత్రులందరికీ నమస్కారం తెలియపరుస్తూ, ఎందుకంటే గత ఎన్నో ఏళ్ల నుంచి కూడా మహిళా రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్ మీద ఎన్నో పార్టీలు వచ్చి ఖచ్చితంగా ఎలక్షన్ మేనిఫెస్టోలో పెట్టి ఈసారైనా పెడతామని చెప్పి ప్రతిసారి ఎలక్షన్లు రాగానే మహిళా రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్ గురించి మాట్లాడుతూ ఉన్నారు. ఇప్పుడున్న బీజేపీ ప్రభుత్వం కూడా 2 దఫాలుగా ఎలక్షన్స్ జరిగినప్పుడు కూడా వాళ్ళ మేనిఫెస్టో ఏర్పాటు చేసుకొని ఇంకా రెండు సార్లు పార్లమెంట్ సమావేశాలు ముగిస్తే మళ్ళీ ఎలక్షన్ కూడా దగ్గర పడ్డాయి. కానీ ఇంకా మహిళా రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్లు దాన్ని పార్లమెంట్లో పెట్టినందుకు నిజంగా చింతిస్తూ ఉన్నాము. కానీ కవిత గారు చాలా గొప్ప నిర్ణయం తీసుకొని వారు పదే మాట్లాడుతున్నారు. కనీసం ఇప్పుడైనా మీరు స్పందించండి. ఇంకా 2 సమావేశాలే ఉన్నాయి. ఈ సమావేశాల్లోనైనా మీరు మహిళా రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్లును ఆమోదం పలికించి చట్టసభల్లో పురుషులతో సమానంగా మహిళలకు అవకాశం కల్పించాలని చెప్పేసి వారు గొప్ప నిర్ణయం తీసుకున్నారు. నిజం మనస్ఫూర్తిగా మీకు ఒక విషయం మీడియా మిత్రులకి వేదికమైన వాళ్ళందరూ తెలియపరుస్తానా, मैं फर्स्ट बंजारा लेडी इन पार्लियामेंट हिस्ट्री में फर्स्ट बंजारा लेडी हूँ मैं. अभी तक किसी पार्टी ने एक बंजारा लेडी को अवकाश नहीं दिया, बट हमारा केसीआर जी ने पार्लियामेंट हिस्ट्री में 5-10 साल का नहीं बोल रही मैं, टोटल पार्लियामेंट हिस्ट्री में फर्स्ट बंजारा लेडी मैं हूँ. నిజంగా చెప్పాలంటే చాలా గర్వంగా ఉంది. కేసీఆర్ గారు ముఖ్యమంత్రి అయిన తర్వాత అంటే ప్రతి ఎవరైనా రాజకీయ నాయకులు అవకాశం రాగానే వాళ్ళ నాయకులు మెచ్చుకుంటూ ఉంటారేమో, కానీ నేను మెచ్చుకునే విషయం, నేను అనే విషయము మా కేసీఆర్ గురించి ఇది తథ్యం. వాస్తవం విషయం ఏంటంటే జెడ్పీలలో తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రంలో ఉన్న అన్ని జిల్లాల్లో 50 కంటే అదనంగా జెడ్పీ చైర్పర్సన్లు ఉన్నారు. ఇవేందో హైదరాబాద్ నడిబొడ్డున్న మేయర్ కూడా మహిళనే ఉంది. ఇవాళ అన్ని ఈవెన్ మార్కెట్స్లలో కూడా రిజర్వేషన్ కల్పించి ఇవాళ 50% ఎబోవ్ కూడా ఇవాళ తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్రంలో మహిళలకు అవకాశం కేసీఆర్ గారు ఇస్తున్నారని చెప్పేసి చాలా గర్వంగా తెలియపరుస్తా ఉన్నా. కవిత గారికి మనస్ఫూర్తి ఇంకొకసారి మీకు అభినందనలు తెలియపరుస్తూ, ఏదైతే మీరు తీసుకున్న నిర్ణయంలో మేము భాగస్వాములు ఉంటాము, పార్లమెంట్లో కూడా లైక్ మైండెడ్ పార్టీస్ అన్నింటినీ కూడా ఏకం చేయడానికి మేము కూడా ఉంటామని చెప్పి తెలియపరుస్తూ మరొకసారి ఇంత మంచి అవకాశం ఇచ్చిన మనస్ఫూర్తి ధన్యవాదాలు తెలియపరుస్తా ఉన్నాను.
Thank you, Akka. Next, can we have Shri S.T. Hassan ji, Honorable MP, to have a few words on the Women's Reservation Bill.
थैंक यू सर. आप पहले तो मैं मुबारकबाद पेश करूंगा कविता जी को कि आपने इतना इम्पोर्टेंट इशू को सेंट्रल दिल्ली में उठाकर महिलाओं का सम्मान को और बढ़ाया है. मेरी पार्टी समाजवादी पार्टी, मैं मुरादाबाद से डॉक्टर एस.टी. हसन, हमारा महिला रिजर्वेशन बिल पे पूरा सपोर्ट है. लेकिन हम ये चाहते हैं कि जो बाबा साहब भीमराव अम्बेडकर जी ने जो संविधान दिया है उसके अकॉर्डिंग भी महिलाओं का भी रिजर्वेशन उसी के अकॉर्डिंग होना चाहिए. आरक्षण में आरक्षण के बगैर काम नहीं चल सकता, क्योंकि हम ऑलरेडी 49.5% आरक्षण दे चुके हैं. 50 से ऊपर आरक्षण नहीं हो सकता. ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट की रूलिंग है. अब उसमें ओबीसी में, दलितों में, SC ST में, जनरल कैटेगरीज में सब में आरक्षण दिया जाए. और मैं क्योंकि माइनॉरिटी को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहा हूं और मैं जानता हूं और आप सब लोग जानते हैं कि देश में माइनॉरिटीज की इस वक्त क्या हालात हैं, दलितों से ही बदतर हैं. तो माइनॉरिटीज के लिए भी विचार किया जाए, माइनॉरिटीज की महिलाओं को भी आगे लाया जाए और उनको भी फ्रंट लाइन में खड़ा करके देश की मुख्य धारा में जोड़कर देश के विकास में आगे बढ़ाने की हिम्मत दी जाए. मैं इस महिला बिल के लिए आप सभी लोगों का शुक्रगुजार हूं और केसीआर जी की पार्टी का शुक्रगुजार हूं. लेकिन जो मैं चाहता हूं, जो मेरी पार्टी चाहती है, वो यही चाहती है कि अकॉर्डिंग टू संविधान ये महिला आरक्षण हो ताकि देश तरक्की करे. और ये सभी लोग जानते हैं कि देश सुपर पावर उस वक्त तक नहीं हो सकता जब तक महिलाओं को उनकी जगह उनका सम्मान नहीं दिया जाएगा. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया.
Thank you, Hassan ji. बहुत शुक्रिया. Thank you, Raghav ji. Let's open up the floor, and I've seen few people raise their hands earlier who had questions, so we can take a few questions.
आदरणीय मंच को प्रणाम करते हुए मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाह रहा हूं. मैं नमस्ते करता हूं. मेरा नाम अमर चौधरी है. विष्णु जी, सवाल का समय सही है क्या? मैं पूछ लूं? अच्छा, कविता मैम नमस्ते. अभी संतोष सर ने मैम कहा कि ये पुरुष प्रधान समाज है, तो एक पुरुष होने के नाते मेरा ये सवाल मंच पर उपस्थित सभी पुरुष प्रतिनिधियों से है, मनोज झा सर से, भूपेंद्र सर, संतोष सर, गुलाम सर, ST हसन साहब। मैं 40 सेकंड चाहूंगा मनोज सर इस सवाल को पूरा करने के लिए। मैं एक कंपनी के साथ काम करता हूं सर, वो एक प्रोडक्ट बनाती है एंटी एडिक्शन, यानी जिस प्रोडक्ट का यूज करके शराब या नशा छोड़ा जा सकता है। तो जब मैंने उनके बिजनेस के बारे में पता किया तो बिजनेस नहीं चल रहा, तो मैंने पूछा आप किसको अप्रोच करते हैं, किसको पिच करते हैं अपना प्रोडक्ट, समझाते किसको हैं? बोले उन पुरुषों को जो शराब पीते हैं, जो नशा करते हैं। तो मैंने कहा आपको लगता है कि जो नशा कर रहा है, नशे को एंजॉय कर रहा है, शराब पी रहा है, वो आपका प्रोडक्ट खरीदेगा क्या? तो बोले फिर हम क्या करें? मैंने कहा आप उनकी पत्नियों को क्यों नहीं समझाते जो उससे तंग है, परेशान है, आप उनकी माओं को क्यों नहीं समझाते? मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं सर, क्या पुरुष होने के नाते क्या हमें नहीं लगता कि महिला आरक्षण की जरूरत महिलाओं से ज्यादा पुरुषों को है? कि आखिर ये महिलाएं हैं कौन? ये या तो मेरी माँ है, या ये तो मेरी बहन है, या ये मेरी पत्नी है। और अगर मेरा आधा परिवार कमजोर है तो मेरा पूरा परिवार कैसे ताकतवर हो सकता है जब तक हम इस पे काम नहीं करेंगे? हमसे कहा जाता है कि पुरुष और महिला एक ही गाड़ी के दो पहिए हैं, और एक पहिए में अगर पंक्चर है तो दूसरा पहिया ये संतुष्ट होकर कैसे बैठ सकता है कि मुझ पे क्या फर्क पड़ता है, क्योंकि आखिरकार सारा जोर उस पहिए पर ही आ जाएगा। तो मेरा सवाल सभी पुरुष प्रतिनिधियों से है कि पुरुष होने के नाते महिला समर्थन आरक्षण के लिए हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं और हमारी क्या भूमिका है? जी।
संतोष जी को आपकी चेस्ट हिंदी समझ में नहीं आई होगी, तो मैं ये सवाल लेता हूँ। आ गया? हाँ, तो संतोष भी बोलेंगे। संतोष जी, लेट मी टेल यू, एक आपने बड़ी अच्छी बात कही। एक तो आपका सवाल नहीं था, ये एक ऑब्जर्वेशन है जिसके पक्ष में हम हैं। लेकिन आपकी एक बात से मैं भी एक हास्य में हल्की बात कहूँ। मैं विश्वविद्यालय में शिक्षक हूँ। कई बार ऐसा होता है कि मेरी 80 की क्लासरूम होती है, देखता हूँ कि 20 विद्यार्थी नहीं है, तो जो नहीं है भाषण उनको नहीं सुनना पड़ता है। जो 60 उपस्थित हैं उन्हीं को मैं कहता हूँ कि यार अटेंडेंस इतना कम क्यों है, कहाँ के चले गए वो लोग। तो ये दिक्कत है, ये जो आपने बात कही उसमें है। लेकिन सेंसिटाइजेशन जो एक चीज है उसकी पुरुषों को ज्यादा आवश्यकता है, क्योंकि वो आधा हिस्सा आसमान का नहीं है, वो आधा हिस्सा हमारा है। थैंक यू।
जितना हिंदी मुझे मालूम उतना हिंदी में बोलने के लिए कोशिश करूंगा। हमारी पार्टी का क्या पोजीशन है, मैं इसके बारे में आपको बताया था, सभी को बताया था। CPI ये जो बिल के लिए समर्थन देता हूँ, लेकिन ये इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए क्या सबसे बड़ा मामला है, माइंडसेट है। हर पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का अंदर मेल शोविनिस्टिक टेंडेंसीज है, इसको हटाना चाहिए। सो CPI स्टैंड्स फॉर दिस, लेकिन पार्टी का अंदर एक रेवोल्यूशन होना चाहिए, बिना ये रेवोल्यूशन ये नहीं हो पाएगा।
Good afternoon all. My name is from GL Bajaj. My question is how.
What's your name?
Pratyaksh.
Pratyaksh.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. My question is how this women reservation bill will help women working in education industry like college, schools, etc. and other industries.
Ma'am, do you want to answer? How will this help women working in other industries?
देखिए, मुझे लगता है जब तक ये रिजर्वेशन नहीं आएगा तब तक महिलाएं अपने आप को उतनी मजबूत नहीं समझ पाती हैं। मैं विमेन कमीशन में जब चेयरपर्सन रही हूँ, मैंने देखा है कि बहुत सारे स्कूल कॉलेजेस से, बहुत फेमस जो इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस हैं, ऐसे जगह पे टीचर्स की भी हालत अच्छी नहीं है। जो महिला शिक्षिकाएं हैं उन पर बहुत ज़्यादा शोषण कई जगह होता है और वो बता नहीं पाती क्योंकि वहाँ पुरुषों का वर्चस्व रहता है। तो मुझे लगता है कि वो खुलकर आगे आएंगी तभी जब उनमें पावर आएगा। तो इसलिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि पॉलिटिकली अगर वो मजबूत हो जाएंगी तो निश्चित रूप से हर फील्ड में उनको मजबूती से सामना करने की ताकत उनमें आएगी। इसीलिए बहुत ज़रूरी है कि ये रिजर्वेशन बिल आए।
We have one more question there.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Kirti. I am from IMS Ghaziabad University Courses Campus. My
my question was for the panel that what does passing this women's reservation bill means for the LGBTQI community? Because as we are listening to the panel, most of the people remarked that there were only two genders, male and female. So what do you feel that how can we translate this into including the LGBTQI community as well? Because recently the center has shown some sort of restrictions into for the LGBTQI community. Thank you.
Today, the draft bill that we have given also talks about LGBTQ community, and it says that any gender, but specifically whoever identifies as women, should be also given the reservation. So that is a part of the bill. We are an open-minded society. India has always been an open-minded society. We believe that anybody who identifies as any particular gender should have a representation. So that is a part of the draft bill, at least that this panel has proposed. Now what comes to be the reality is a fight that we all are fighting, and we should continue to fight. Thank you.
Okay, we'll have two more questions and then we'll continue with the panel discussion.
Very good evening to all the honorable guests present here, all the honorable MPs. My question is to Honorable Rekha ji. Ma'am, like Priyanka ma'am said earlier, that women in states, they had to fight for their right to vote. And like you said, that you'll ask Honorable PM Modi ji whether he will pass this bill before the G20 summit in September or not. Do you think after passing the bill, there would be egoistical, toxic masculinity in men in the patriarchal society would increase violence in women, violence against women?
Who? Anybody wants to take the question? बोल रहे कि हाँ? See, the fundamental issue here, sorry, I didn't get your name.
Ma'am, my name is Pratik Chahal and I am from IMS Ghaziabad.
Pratik, thank you for asking the question. The
Highly
fight
appreciate.
today is to pass the bill. And to pass the bill itself, we are facing so many hurdles because it comes out of the hurdles are created by the mindset which comes out of a patriarchal system. But then, yes, we need to make space. We need to forge ahead. So that is why so many parties have come together. And as you rightly said, there was this discussion कि it is like a chicken and egg problem. Because women are going out and working more, have the crimes on women increased? Or is it because women are more aware that they are reporting the crimes? So this has always been a question. But regardless of the fact, law and order also becomes a part and parcel of women being empowered as a whole. And political participation of women will give more voice to women. And if a crime is committed, it has to be reported. And what are the root causes of the crime? That has to be again looked into. But I do not believe that passing women reservation bill will directly have an implication on the crime, because we have done that in local bodies and we have not seen any such studies which suggested that. So doing that in the assemblies and parliaments, I believe will not have that kind of an effect. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll have one last question before we have our panel discussion.
Hello everyone, myself Sarwan Kumar Kohri. I am from IMS Ghaziabad, journalism student. मैम, मेरा आपसे सवाल है कविता मैम से कि जब हम प्राइवेट बिल की बात करते हैं तो हमारी स्टेटिस्टिक उतनी अच्छी रही नहीं है. हमने लोकपाल मतलब हम लोगों ने ये जब किसी बिल के अपोज में आती है तो हम सोशली टीम इकट्ठा कर लेते हैं, जैसे हमने सीएम फार्मर बिल में देखा. लेकिन जब बिल क्रिएट करने की बात आती है तो हमारे पास हमारे कम से कम स्टेटिस्टिक डाटा सपोर्ट नहीं करती. तो हाउ होपफुल यू आर फॉर फ्रॉम दिस मतलब बिल एंड व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड इट? मतलब ऐसा क्या है जो इस बार बदलने वाला है, जो कि हमने देखा है कि 14-15 प्राइवेट बिल पास हुए हैं जिसमें 2-3 ही पास हुए हैं आज तक के इतिहास में.
देखिए, प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल किसी भी पार्टी इंट्रोड्यूस करती है, उसका एडवांटेज ये होता है कि प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल इंट्रोड्यूस करने के बाद, चर्चा होने के बाद सरकार को जवाब देना पड़ता है. तो जब सरकार जवाब देती है तो फ्लोर ऑफ द हाउस पे वो कमिट कर रहे होते हैं कि अपना स्टैंड क्या है. तो ये कमिटमेंट लगातार सत्ता पक्ष से लेने का एक एडवांटेज होता है कि उनका इश्यू के तरफ कितना कमिटमेंट है वो लोगों को पता चल जाता है. उससे एक पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर बनती है. जो नीड ऑफ द आवर है वुमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल, उसको पारित कराने में ऐसा लगातार गवर्नमेंट के तरफ से जो कमिटमेंट आता है, that will build up the momentum. So that is the fundamental issue, that why we requested the MPs today who are here to give a private member bill. हाँ जी.
मैं कहना चाहूँगा कि आजकल पार्लियामेंट और राज्यसभा यस और नो पे चल रहा है। यस वाले ज़्यादा हैं, नो वाले का कोई सुनने वाला नहीं है।
मैं यही बात बोल रहा था सर कि जब ऐसी स्थिति है तो हम कैसे होप कर रहे हैं कि हम मतलब चूंकि जाहिर सी बात है पॉलिटिकल ये सोशल एस्पेक्ट भी है और पॉलिटिकल एस्पेक्ट भी है और somehow हम जब मर्ज नहीं करेंगे तो इसे सॉल्व नहीं कर पाएंगे। तो हम कैसे पास होने के मतलब हमारे पास रीजंस क्या हैं जो हम सोच रहे हैं कि इस बार हम अचीव कर पाएंगे इससे?
प्रयास नहीं छोड़ना चाहिए।
थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
कोई भी सरकार ये ऐसा इशू है जिसमें ना नहीं कह सकती है, अपने जाल में फंसने की स्थिति हो जाएगी। चाहे कोई प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल भी ये लाता है तो पास नहीं कराएंगे तो भी मरे और ना करेंगे तो है ही स्थिति। इसलिए लाना बहुत जरूरी है कि सरकार के सामने 50% आबादी के सामने सरकार की स्थिति क्लियर होएगी कि वो वास्तव में चाहते क्या है।
बिल्कुल, मैं भी आपसे सहमति रखती हूँ, क्योंकि ये सरकार हमेशा ये दिखाती है कि हम महिलाओं के हित में काम कर रहे हैं, विमेन एम्पावरमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसे में अगर ये मुद्दा सामने आएगा चुनाव के पहले तो उनको लगेगा कि भाई हम एक तरफ तो कह रहे हैं कि विमेन एम्पावरमेंट हमें चाहिए, हम उसके पक्ष में हैं, और दूसरी तरफ हम यही ना कर रहे हैं। तो इसमें कहीं ना कहीं वो बैकफुट पे जाएगी और मुझे लगता है इस दबाव में कहीं ये पास हो जाए, ऐसी उम्मीद है हमें।
बिल्कुल। हेलो, आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे भाई? आपने अभी कहा कि हम ये कर कैसे पाएंगे और सरकार मानेगी या नहीं मानेगी। हम गुरनाम जी यहाँ बैठे हैं, राज्यपाल जी यहाँ बैठे, हम 13 महीने सड़क पे सोए थे तब मानी थी। इतनी बेशरम सरकार है, एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस से ये नहीं मानेगी, ये हमें भी पता है। बट एटलीस्ट किसी ने स्टार्ट किया इस चीज को, इस चर्चा को। मैं ग्रामीण परिप्रेक्ष्य से आता हूँ, मैं हरियाणा से आता हूँ। अभी मनोज भाई बैठे थे जहाँ सरपंच पति की बात हो रही थी, सबसे ज्यादा हमारे यहीं होता है। एक स्टैंप होती है औरत अगर चुनाव जीत भी जाए तो हम वे औरतें जो वो सोच भी नहीं सकती कि दिल्ली में कोई बैठ करके उनके रिजर्वेशन के, उनके अधिकारों की बात करेगा भी, क्योंकि इस देश का पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम इतना गर्त में चला गया है कि अगर मेरे बोलने से मेरी पार्टी को एक आधे वोट का नुकसान हो जाएगा तो मेरी पार्टी ताला लगा के घर पे बैठा देगी मुझे। तो मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा कविता दी का, जिन्होंने कम से कम ये चर्चा छेड़ी। आपने कहा स्टैट्स नहीं है, स्टैट्स भी आ जाएंगे, सरकार एक बार टेबल पे बैठ के चर्चा करे। मैं नहीं कह रहा हमारे पास 100% स्टैट्स होंगे, बहुत बड़ा भारत है, पर एक चीज आप समझ लीजिए, हम सब ये एक छोटा सा हिस्सा है। वे ग्रामीण औरतें जो 10-10, 12, 15 किलोमीटर पैदल एक पानी का घड़ा लेने जाती, वो असली भारत है। उनकी बात को टेबल पे लेकर के आना बहुत जरूरी है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Bhupendra Chaudhary ji. Well said. May I request Honorable MP Premachandran ji to have a few valuable words for this gathering.
Thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, I take this opportunity to congratulate and appreciate Madam Kavitha ji for initiating this discussion and bringing this issue in the national political platform. The need of passing the Women's Reservation Bill, and really it is an appreciable thing Madam Kavitha ji has done, for which really she deserves congratulations, and I would like to place it on record. And the main focal issue to be discussed, I think, is, because it is very interesting in independent India, this is one of the very different legislation by which the entire political parties, whether it is the government or the opposition, all are unanimously supporting a particular bill, but it is not getting passed. It is really a contradiction which we are seeing in post-independent India. Because the government is interested in passing the bill, the opposition is also supporting it. Why it is being get passed? That is the issue to be discussed. So definitely the political parties coming out for support of this bill should show the political will that should be exposed, for which definitely a bill has to be placed, introduced before the House, but unfortunately no bill is coming from the part of the government. Now most of the students who have asked the question regarding the private members bill, yes, we are having the right and there are chances of introducing the private member bill, and if it is, there is a luck, because it is by law, it is coming before the consideration of the House. When it comes, definitely it will be discussed. But at the same time, the political will of the government is highly essential to have it introduced in the House and to get it passed. Even the major political parties, almost all the political parties, you see the government as well as the opposition party led by Congress, even Congress, left parties, all BRS, all the political parties are supporting the bill, but not getting passed. It is really a contradiction and it is mocking the parliamentary democracy in our country. The will of the people is in favor of passing the Women's Reservation Bill. But quite unfortunate to say that the majority leading the political leadership is not willing to pass it in an indirect way. That is actually happening in our country. At the same time, I would like to add one more point, because the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, if you see, the Panchayati Raj system as well as the Nagarapalika system, so many powers which were vested with the state government were transferred to the local self-governments or the local bodies. And you may see after all these decades, not even a single power or a provision or authority which is being entrusted with the central government, union government, has not been transferred to the state government. This is the way by which the government, union government, is dealing in a federal democracy. We are always talking about the corporate federalism, all these things, but in practice it is not being seen. This is the thing now we are also seeing in the case of the Women Reservation Bill also. And the third point which I would like to make is regarding the political parties should also come out with their sincerity by showing that women should be given adequate representation in the elections, in parliament election as well as assembly election, so as to prove their bona fides in passing the Women's Reservation Bill. Then only it will get a momentum in the national political platform so as to get it considered and passed in the House. These are the observations which I would like to make. And we have received a very good research paper on the part of this Bharat Jagruthi, and even a copy or a model private member bill, even questions. Everything has been prepared. We are very thankful to the organizers, and definitely we will take up this matter. But at the same time, I would like to reiterate the political will of the political parties at the national level, in the parliament and outside, is highly essential. That is one of the requirement of this hour to get it passed. With these words, I conclude. Thank you very much.
John Britas is coming in 15 minutes. 1 second. Just write down the names. No? Anyway, so we'll just conclude then. I'll speak, and if he joins by then, it's okay. Otherwise, we'll conclude. Okay. Sir, Brent. Thank you, sir.
Here, after listening all opinions of the political parties, it's almost all, including BJP, everybody accepting the Women Reservation Bill. They are not opposing. But the bill is not coming out. My proposal, that's the only proposal I have discussed by party also. And also to think about this program, all political parties. Why not we mobilize women folk? How the farmers' association took place in Delhi. That model we should adopt. Let us mobilize lakhs of the women's Delhi to sit for until and unless the bill is passed. That should be discussed. That should be agenda for all political parties. From my party, we also discuss to positively so that we can achieve. Otherwise, only speaking and going is not useful, what our cabinet said. So this is my concrete proposal. The months and dates we can decide. Okay. June, July, like that. But massive mobilization, and they should sit here in Delhi, not to move until achieve the position. To achieve the position or go to jail. These two, one achieving the bill, or let us go all jail to sit there to fight it. Like that is my proposal. Please discuss our political parties.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Since the last 1.5 hour, we've been having very fruitful and interactive discussion. But the startling facts of India having only 14% women representation in parliament and average of 8% in all state legislatures is really alarming. So we've been hearing a lot of statistics. So can we request the panelists to spend few minutes on what could be the tools that we can leverage within the House, within the Parliament. We've been hearing about private members bill, but besides private members bill, what are the other options that we have as parliamentarians who can introduce the bill and get it pushed? Before that, I would like to request Bhupendra Chaudhary ji to have a few words.
मैं सिर्फ इतना कहूँगा कि अभी के नारायण जी ने जो कहा कि पार्लियामेंट में चर्चा, पार्लियामेंट में बिल लाना, वो तमाम चीज़ें जो हैं वो ठीक है, पर क्योंकि किसान आंदोलन मुझे लगता है इससे बड़ी मिसाल आंदोलनों को जीतने की और लड़ाई लड़ने की नहीं मिल सकती है। तो कविता दी, मैं आपसे कहना चाहूँगा ये कि अब सड़कें घेरने का समय आ गया है और आपको करना पड़ेगा ऐसा, अन्यथा मैं बस यही, मतलब मेरा कहने का मतलब यही है कि जब हमारे तो गुरुओं ने सिखाया कि जब भाई हक अपना मांगने से ना मिले तो छीन लो, पर हाँ आप हम जैसे कुछ पुरुषों को जरूर खड़ा पाएंगी अपने पीछे, लेकिन लड़नी आपको पड़ेगी लड़ाई। बहुत शुक्रिया।
Thank you.
Thank you so much. From the time we have taken up the women's reservation bill stand, there has been tremendous support across the party lines. I thank each and every member who came in today, from JMM, Mahua Maji ji, from DMK, Tamlachi ji, RJD, Mr. Manoj Shah, from Samajwadi Party, ST Hassan sir, from CPI, Mr. Binoy sir, and CPI Santosh ji, and Raghav Chadda ji, Aam Aadmi Party, Priyanka Chaturvedi, Shiv Sena, then RLD से मैडम नेशनल वुमेन प्रेसिडेंट है प्रतिभा सिंह जी, RLD से ब्रदर भूपेन चौधरी सिया, एंड प्रेमचंद्रन जी है हमारे RSP से मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट लोकसभा, एंड ऑफ कोर्स हमारे CPI नारायण सर, जनरल सेक्रेटरी नारायण सर इज हियर, एंड प्रोफेसर, I keep forgetting your name sir, I'm so sorry, Dinesh sir, thank you so much, and BRS party MPs, all of you are present here. Thank you so much for each and every one of you. And National Disability Network, Mr. Srinivas Garu, Gurnam Singh ji hai, Rajewal ji hai, Azad Party से हरजीत सिंह भट्टी जी है, आपको भी धन्यवाद। बस आज कहना इतना ही बात है कि संसद के अंदर और बाहर भी इसके लिए लड़ाई करनी है। संसद के अंदर लड़ाई करने के लिए हमारे सांसद जितने भी हैं उनको वी हैव गिवन अ लॉट ऑफ डेटा टुडे, नॉट दैट दे डोंट नो, बट इट इज़ आवर एफर्ट एज अ organization to make sure that we make your work easier. So we did our little bit of research. We formulated a lot of questions. We've also drafted a private member bill that could be tabled. And of course, there are many other ways to keep reminding this government that this was your promise in 2014, that this was your promise in 2019, and you came to power with this promise. So to remind the government with full majority, I believe these are few ways in which we can bring them to, understand and respond to the issue again and again. And of course, संसद के बाहर जो काम करना है, रोड ब्लॉक करना है, सिंह बॉर्डर पे हमें भी बैठना है, वो सब तो करना ही पड़ेगा क्योंकि सरफरोशी का तमन्ना तो दिल में है।
संसद वाला आप कर लीजिए, बाहर वाले में हम साथ हो जाएंगे आपके।
बिल्कुल, इसीलिए हमने वो इंस्पिरेशन के लिए किसान यूनियन से हमारे लीडर्स को बुलाया है। उन्होंने भी कहा है लगातार कि महिलाओं की तो बात होनी ही चाहिए, बराबर आबादी में है तो रिप्रेजेंटेशन में भी बराबरी होनी चाहिए, और आगे चल के ये लड़ाई यहाँ पे रुकने वाली नहीं है। सिर्फ ये दूसरा ही मीटिंग है, अब तीसरा होगा, चौथा होगा, लगातार होते ही रहेगा, हर एक राज्य में भी होते ही रहेगा। अल्टीमेटली फ्रॉम दिस मार्च until next session ends, this fight will continue because this government has a chance and a choice to make. And we want this government to tell the women of this country that if they are with us or not with us, then we can also decide if we are with them or not with them. That is a simple agenda. So every kind of meeting will be held, every kind of protest will be held. We will request each and every organization to support us, and we will continue the fight. Today, this is a effort to make sure that we request the parliamentarians to fight within the parliament, and we will continue many such efforts. And once again, I thank all the students who are here, not only just being here, they asked a lot of questions, they participated. Journalism students are also here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And I thank each and every one of you. MP, okay, VC camp. Okay. There are few more MPs on the way. VMK party is from Tamil Nadu. There are 2 members of parliaments. They are also coming here. Mr. John Brittas he's from CPM. Mr. John Brittas is also joining us shortly. So we will wait for them. But meanwhile, while we are waiting for this, I really wanted the students to understand, because one of the students asked a question that what is the use of introducing a private member bill, or even our Santosh sir said कि adjournment motion से इससे उससे क्या होगा. एक एक कदम तो आगे बढ़ना होगा, एक एक बार याद तो दिलाना होगा और आगे बढ़ना ही होगा. तो बस यही कोशिश हमारा रहेगा. And meanwhile, what should we do? Waiting for the MPs. People want to ask more questions? Acha. Are they here? The MPs have just come. Students को दीजिए please.
हेलो, नमस्कार मैम. मैम मेरा कविता मैम से क्वेश्चन है कि मैम हम देखते हैं कि रूरल में जो रूरल एरिया है वहाँ पर महिलाएं बाहर नहीं आना चाहती. उनका एक तरीके से फ्यूचर फिक्स रहता है. उनका फ्यूचर ये रहता है कि उनको रसोई में ही रहना है और रसोई में ही रहना है, रसोई का ही काम करना है और उसके बाहर नहीं आना है. तो क्या अगर ये अधिनियम आता है तो क्या उनके लिए भी ये फायदेमंद होगा? क्या वे भी बाहर आ करके अपने लिए खुद पैसा कमा सकती है?
मैं आपका जवाब देती हूँ. देखिए, इसका फायदा यही होगा कि जिन महिलाओं को सदियों से घर में दबाकर रखा गया है, उन पर टॉर्चर किया जाता रहा है, अब उन महिलाओं की पूछ बढ़ रही है. हमारे स्टेट में आपको पता होगा कि अभी जो पंचायत चुनाव वगैरह हुए हैं, जिला परिषद के चुनाव हुए हैं, चूंकि उसमें महिला रिजर्वेशन था तो स्टेट लेवल पर, तो इसमें ये फायदा हुआ कि घर के पुरुषों ने अपनी पत्नियों को खड़ा किया, बहन को खड़ा किया. कई बार तो उन सीट्स पे पहले उनके पति या भाई या कोई और पुरुष सदस्य खड़ा होता था. चूंकि विमेन रिजर्वेशन हो गया तो अपने घर से किसी ना किसी को उनको खड़ा करना उनकी मजबूरी थी. और जब वो खड़ी होती है तो वो पावरफुल हो जाती है, फिर उसकी पूछ बढ़ती है और पूरे घर में उनका स्टेटस चेंज हो जाता है. यहाँ तक कि उनके बच्चे भी जो पहले अपनी माँ को नहीं पूछते थे वो भी सम्मान देने लगते हैं. क्योंकि जब पॉलिटिकल पावर मिलता है तो फिर लोगों को लगने लगता है कि नहीं, तो सब कुछ चेंज हो जाता है, पूरा सिनेरियो चेंज हो जाता है. तो इसलिए मुझे लगता है ये बहुत ज़रूरी है, खास तौर पर उन इलाकों के लिए जहाँ महिलाएं ज़्यादा प्रताड़ित होती हैं, ज़्यादा दबाई जाती हैं, सताई जाती हैं. शहरी इलाकों में तो फिर भी महिलाएं पढ़ लिख कर अपना एक स्टेटस बना चुकी हैं बहुत इलाकों में, लेकिन रूरल एरिया में इसकी और ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है. धन्यवाद.
I would like to.
Can we invite Honorable MP John Brittas to please come onto the stage, and also Honorable MPs Ravi ji and Tol Tirumavalanji to please come onto the stage.
VMK party, please come.
VMK.
And I wanted to add for your question कि villages में महिलाएं घर में रहना नहीं चाहती है, रसोई में रहना नहीं चाहती है, हमें रसोई में रहना पड़ता है. तो that is the problem. अगर कुछ हमें मौका मिले नौकरी करने का, बाहर जाने का, पढ़ाई करने का, तो ज़रूर वो ऑप्शन ले सकती है महिलाएं भी. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि हम रहना चाहते हैं, रहना पड़ता है तो हम रहते हैं. और जहाँ रहना पड़ता है, करना पड़ता है, वहाँ पे भी हमने अच्छे से परफॉर्म किया है. जहाँ बाय चॉइस हम जा सकते हैं वहाँ पे भी हमने अच्छा परफॉर्म किया है. थैंक यू.
हेलो मैम, मेरा नाम अभिमन्यु सिंह है. मैं
थोड़ा आवाज बढ़ाइए, माइक का आवाज नहीं आ रहा.
ओके मैम. मैम मेरा नाम अभिमन्यु सिंह है. मैं जर्नलिज्म हूँ. हाँ, मेरा क्वेश्चन सभी पार्टी मेंबर से है कि सभी पार्टी के कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन होते हैं और आइडियोलॉजी होती है, बट सभी पार्टी को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में 50% महिलाओं के लिए रिजर्व सीट करना चाहिए कि फिक्स कर देना चाहिए कि मतलब इतने मेंबर लड़ सकते हैं, मतलब 50% फिक्स. तो इससे तो मतलब सभी पार्टियों में क्या ऐसा कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन है?
नहीं है, वही तो प्रॉब्लम है ना. सभी पार्टीज में सीट नहीं देते महिलाओं को.
आपके पार्टी में
बिल्कुल नहीं है.
तो आपकी पार्टी को मतलब ये भी करना चाहिए, तो उसको भी मतलब उसमें भी
करना
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन चेंज करना चाहिए.
बिल्कुल करना. I'll tell you. See, not only my party, any party doesn't have the number of voluntarily giving seats is not a system, unfortunately, in this country. तो पहले एक रूल बनाते हैं, लॉ बनाते हैं, जो सारे पार्टियां लाइन में आ जाएंगे. उसके बाद तो वुमेन का रिप्रेजेंटेशन ऑटोमेटिकली बढ़ते ही जाएगा. बट देर आर सम पार्टीज विच वी शुड नॉट फॉरगेट. They have made an effort to give more number of seats, and political parties should work both ways. पार्टी के अंदर भी काम चलना चाहिए, बाहर इलेक्शन कमीशन की तरफ से रूल भी होना चाहिए, तब भी जाके 100% सक्सेसफुल हो सकता है. थैंक यू सो मच. कैन आई डू यू वांट टू स्पीक फर्स्ट, जॉन?
हाँ, इन्हीं के सवाल का मैं कंटिन्यू ही करना चाह रहा था कि बिल्कुल पार्टीज को देना चाहिए. आपने बिल्कुल जायज सवाल उठाया, परंतु एक डिफरेंस है पार्टी और देश के मामले में. वो ये है कि पार्टियों में महिलाओं की भागीदारी कितनी है राजनीति में, और देश की अगर आप बात करेंगे तो देश में आधी आबादी है महिलाएं. पार्टियों में ऐसा होता है कि 90% पुरुष हैं, मात्र 10% महिलाएं हैं. आपने किसी पार्टी का, मैं कोई अपवाद नहीं हूं, मैं भी उसी लीग का हिस्सा हूं, झूठ नहीं बोल रहा भाई. परंतु कभी आपने देखा है कि कोई किसी पार्टी की महिला विंग ने अधिवेशन किया हो और वो एक रैली जितना बड़ा हो गया हो? नहीं, चंद महिलाएं होती हैं, क्योंकि पार्टियों में हिस्सेदारी उतनी होती है. हिस्सेदारी इन सेंस वो उस स्तर पे उनको मौके नहीं मिले हुए होते. इसीलिए हम कह रहे हैं कि अगर पैन इंडिया, अगर आप देश के बारे में बात करेंगे, अगर आपने ग्रामीण महिलाओं के बारे में इन भाई ने थोड़ी देर पहले पूछा था, तो भाई सत्ता हाथ में पकड़ानी पड़ेगी तब वो निकल सकती है रसोई से बाहर. आप ये कहोगे कि जाके ले लो या देख लो, हम आपको एम्पावर करेंगे, सॉरी, ऐसे नहीं होता. आरक्षण, संविधान में भी आरक्षण पिछड़ों को भी इसलिए दिया गया था क्योंकि हमारे तमाम हालात ऐसे थे कि अगर हमको कोई ये कह भी दे कि जाके लड़ाई लड़ ले या जा अपना अधिकार ले ले, तो हम नहीं ले पा सकते थे. तो बाबा साहब ने वो दिया हमें कि तुमको ये अधिकार है, तुम्हें करना ही पड़ेगा, तब जाके देश सशक्त हुआ है. इसलिए जरूरत है महिला आरक्षण की. बहुत शुक्रिया.
थैंक यू. कैन वी हैव ऑनरेबल एमपी जॉन ब्रिटास जी टू स्पीक फ्यू वर्ड्स ऑन द वुमेन्स रिजर्वेशन बिल.
Thank you very much, Kavitha ji, and the organizers behind this conference. I represent Communist Party of India, Marxist, and as you know, I am a MB from Kerala. See, before becoming an MP, I was a journalist, and I was witness to the spectacle in Parliament, what had happened when this women reservation bill was introduced. It was like a battleground, as though we are permitting our enemies to be part of the Indian Parliament. That was the attitude of many of the political parties. Now, there has been a question which has been raised here, which says that, why can't the political parties themselves, reserve seats? This has been the same question which has been asked by those people who are opposing the women reservation bill. Please understand the catch behind that. Unless there is an affirmative action, there won't be representation of the women in Parliament or the assemblies. Let me just tell you my experience. See, when we introduced, I would say, representation of women in local self-bodies, many people, many analysts, they said that this is not going to succeed. There were a lot of people who, predicted doomsayers. What has happened that? There has been a great transformation at the local self-government. The representation of the women has actually gone up beyond 50%. See, representation is not merely to put few people at the administrative level. This is to ensure the participation of the half of the population of this country. Now what is happening? India's ranking is something like the 20th slot from the behind. That should be the slide. Now there is a virtual disenfranchisement that has happened to the women. You want them to vote. And if you look at the statistics, the voting, women vote more than the men. Actually, they are more politically inclined. They want to be part of the political discourse. You won't permit them to be part of the political discourse. If at all you say that the political parties have to reserve seats, what is going to happen? I am sure that Kavithaji's party will field 3 persons from Kerala and they will lose. The quota is completed. That is what these people are saying. You reserve the seats. There are 545 Lok Sabha seats. Hypothetically, you say that every political party will have to field at least 20% of their candidates. BJP will be fielding 20 seats from Kerala. We have only 20 seats for Lok Sabha. So that will not work. So this is just another ploy to defeat the very purpose of this women reservation bill. Now just imagine the scenario of SC/ST brothers. If at all you didn't have the reservation for SC/ST, you would not have, I would say, more than 10 persons in parliament. Only because the affirmative action has happened. So my firm resolve is that this women reservation bill, which has been gathering dust for decades, needs to be brought. And if there is a government which harp on what is that Nari Shakti, women empowerment, the empowerment can start only with the participation of the women in decision-making process. Now, unfortunately, the situation in the country is that there is absolutely a vacuum with regard to the representation. There are many sections which are being left out. Think about the minorities. What is the representation for them in the parliament or in assemblies? This has happened to the women also. So I would say that any democracy which needs to be meaningful has to be representative. You need to give representation to the people. So I fully support the very cause of this conference to ensure that there is women reservation bill brought forward and passed. Let us see that this could be the watershed for the Indian democracy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the inspirational
Thank you so much.
words. May I request Honorable MP Tol Tirumavalanji, VCK party, to have a few words for us.
Respected Kavitha ji and dignitaries in the dais, I am Tirumavalavan, President of VCK, Member of Parliament, Lok Sabha. I am here to extend our support to this ambition taken by Kavitha ji. This is need of the hour. We have to support Bharat Jagruthi to implement reservation for women in legislations, particularly parliament and legislative assemblies. In Telangana, our Honorable CM KCRG already have given 50% reservation in local bodies. We have to appreciate and congratulate our Honorable CM for his great contribution to the women. He is only a role model in this regard in the nation. each and every state and chief minister of every state has to follow his decision. 27 years back, we brought a bill in the parliament, 33% reservation for women. Not yet this bill have passed in favor. This is great injustice to the nation, not only to the women. Unless women empowerment, our nation will not get any progress. So women empowerment is very essential to build our nation in positive manner. We are indirectly against to the women empowerment. This is truth. This is fact we have to accept. Because for the past 27 years, this bill was pending. This is a male-dominated society. We proved again and again. So, on behalf of our VCK, I assure that we will be behind with our Kavitha ji and Bharat Jagruthi for bringing this bill to be passed. On behalf of VCK, we both, and myself and Mr. Ravi Kumar, MLA from Viluppuram constituency, General Secretary of our party, definitely will support for this women bill. Already we are demanding through struggle and many events that 50% must be provided to the women. 33% is not have any logic. Women population 50%, we know. So 50% of the reservation must be given to the women. Anyhow, already introduced a bill in the parliament which is providing 33% to the women. So first of all, we will try to bring this bill to the House and we will make it act. That is very essential and need of the hour. So once again, I would like to extend our support to this ambition taken by our Kavitha ji, madam. Thank you.
Thank you, Tirumavalavan sir, for your very honest opinions. You very correctly said we are 50% of the population, but somehow with some logic 33% came into existence. And okay, whatever it is, even 33% let us pass is what you have said. Let us all put the efforts to do that. And for this entire women reservation agitation, we have taken one quote as inspiration, which is in Telugu, sir, which says, Dharanilo sagam, Akashamlo sagam, Avakashamlo guda sagam. As in we are half on the earth, half in the sky, we want half in the opportunity. So that is the basic driving force behind this entire movement of Bharat Jagruthi. And I sincerely thank each and every one of the participants from the bottom of my heart. And I'll request the participants who actually came down and sat down there for a photograph, sir, if all of us can join here. Gurnam Singh ji, Rajawal ji, Narayana Garu, Dinesh sir, our MPs BRS, please come on to the stage for a photograph. Santosh bhai kahan pe?
अच्छी, बहुत अच्छी।
दयाकर एलपी दयाकर इतना फोटो चाहिए इसे कौन चाहिए अभी नहीं मिलेगा अभी कहाँ से दूंगा इस पे कौन भी चाहिए एक स्पीकर तो ले सकता है अभी रुक जा अभी नहीं मिलेगा रुक जा अभी 10 मिनट रुक जा नहीं रुक जा ये इसमें होगा ना इसमें देखियो स्पीकर इसमें से ले ले तो पहले स्पीकर तो निकाल स्पीकर निकाल ले